UFC Vegas 108 is on deck. This is First Strike. I'm your boy Pimp Slap POD. I've got MMA Jeff and Subhuman Gaucho here, the Apex Predators of the Octagon. Going to give you guys three of our best bets for beating these books for this big card that's going to pop off here back at the Apex this weekend. MMA Jeff, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Got some solid looking fights this weekend. I think we got 12 back to the Apex, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking like we might see some finishes this weekend again. I like that.
Quite a few finishes that we've seen the last few weeks. Subhuman Gaucho, how are you feeling about this Vegas 108 card?
Yeah, we've done pretty well with these baby cage cards. This one's like, I don't know. We've been spoiled with this stadium run. This one's okay. I mean, it's, I think there's some fun ones. I do think it's pretty challenging from a betting perspective. I have a lot of dogs and some that I don't feel great about, but we've got this one. We got one more baby cage card, and then it's back to Tuesday night Dana White Contender Series. So there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, not aside from Contender Series, there's a lot to look forward to. So I'm looking ahead, man. I'm looking ahead a little bit.
Yeah, this card has been kind of that moving target right now. They moved a couple of these fights around. They pulled some fights from next week rather into this week. There's obviously that last minute change up here with the main event, Tejera and Park. Should be a fun battle though. I think this rescheduled match is actually better than what they originally had on deck there. I wasn't too excited about seeing that battle, but hey, we've got ourselves combat. Anytime there's combat, there's an opportunity. Some really strange fights out there, some exciting fights as well. Two ladies bouts on the card. We'll talk about one of them here in my breakdown, but we've got some newcomers. We've got some guys that just haven't looked great that are still finding a way to be relevant in the UFC. I don't know what we're going to see when it comes down to the Apex card here, but I do like the baby cage. I do think that leads to more violence, Jeff. And hey, you're going to kick us off talking about some violence in this first fight. So let's talk about your battle and path to victory.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We got Nick Klein versus Andre Pulayev. This is the feature fight on the prelim card, so we should get some action here. This one started out pretty close to a pick'em, and the line has certainly gone towards Poiliev's side of things here. I saw he was sitting at a minus 150 in some locations, minus 155. So he's certainly taken some action here early on in the week. Nick Klein, he's about 2 years older. He's 6'2". He lost his pro debut in the UFC by KO back in February to Abdul Malik. In fact, something that stood out to me is he's 6-2 as a pro. His only two losses have come by KO. He's more of a BJJ fighter. He is a BJJ fighter. He's content to stay on his back and wrestle and grapple and try to look up for shoot some submission attempts out there. He does have 3 submission finishes in his career. Despite his 2 KO losses, he is a pretty tough fighter still. He isn't the most powerful striker, which again is why he likes to, BJJ style, get it on his on the mat, and he's very comfortable on his back. So he seems fine to stand up and exchange jabs until he gets a shot for a takedown, and then he generally he'll take his shot, and he's pretty good at it. He can certainly land some takedowns, that's for sure. You got Pulayev on the other side. He's 9-3 as a pro. He also lost his pro debut back in March to CDL by unanimous decision. Coming into that fight, he was a pretty sizable dog, and he was projected to get KO'd. CDL did not manage to get the KO. Instead, Pulayev showed his toughness. He showed his stamina. He was able to go 15 minutes. And, went to the judges. He got the UNAM loss. Unfortunately, he got beaten each round, but he didn't look terrible, in my opinion. He's got a 3-inch height advantage here over Klein. He's got just under a 2-inch reach advantage. I think he's going to use that to his advantage in this fight. You got Pulayev. He is a powerful and tactical striker. He tends to throw jabs using his length, trying to keep his opponents at a comfortable range for striking. He's willing to work the body. He's willing to work the head. He'll throw some combos if he has to. He's definitely a striker as opposed to a grappler. You see, he's tough to take down. His takedown defense, as you see on the screen there, 85%. He lands he's an average volume thrower. He can, again, he can mix it up, do some exchanges in there, but his tactical striking is I think what might separate him in this one. I think ultimately what we're going to see here is the the typical striker versus grappler. I think we're going to see a pretty decent fight here. In my opinion, Klein's going to need to get this one to the mat. If he stands toe-to-toe with Pulaev, I don't think it's going to work out well for him, and it's going to probably end up being a short night. The way Pulaev was defending the takedowns in his last fight, if he can do that again, I certainly think this one's going to stay on the feet. It's going to be a tough task for Klein to get him down. Ultimately, I see Pulaev stuffing most of the takedowns, if not every single one of the attempts, using his tactical striking and his length. I think ultimately he's going to end up getting the KO finish in this one. I'm going to roll with Pulaev by KO at plus 180 in this one. And let's keep rolling. Mike's going to roll us to the Rosa Cornell fight. Mike, how are we getting paid in this one?
Bantamweights, ladies bout, Carol Rosa, Nora Cornell, and your boy here looking at trying to go for win number 4 in a row. We've cashed some big price tags, and I think we have another opportunity here in this bantamweight battle. Kind of an interesting spot, because if you look at some of the numbers here, first and foremost, what we see out of Rosa's, she's kind of a bulldog there. She'll rush, she'll push forward, she'll kind of get you maybe up against the back a little earlier or backing off a little early. But inevitably what happens is what we find in this situation is she loves her decisions. She's very much got the cardio and she can go deep, but she lacks the power. As I mentioned, she'll push forward. She can execute the Muay Thai game plan, but her last fight was none too impressive. She looked slow. She looked way too comfortable being pressed up against the cage. And while I do think she's shown some ability, she likes to focus on the technical side of things. And I believe that has a lot to do with her fight style. She likes to go to the judges' scorecards. I mentioned the win one, lose one. She takes the Dumont decision. It's a UNAM loss. She fires it back just a couple months later, takes on Santos, gets the split decision win, on and on. Aldana decision, UNAM lost. Kinzad decision, UNAM win, up until her recent battle with Perez, where she takes the UNAM loss out there. And I believe that is going to be to her downfall here. When it comes down to when you're on the other side of things with Cornell, what do we know? Well, she's got 4 fights under her belt in the UFC. Prior to that, she was a regional circuit type of thing. One of the big differences that we've talked about on some of the live shows is the difference in age, right? And the male fighter that's 7 years the younger has that 65% plus win rate. Throw that out the window last week when we saw the senior fighters be more technical and be able to go out there and withstand the beating and ultimately come up with their hands in the air. I think it's a little different in the ladies' bouts, though. I think that the experience, the more elder statesmen do have the advantage out there. They show a little bit more discipline. They're a little more, I guess it's just more of a profession. And as they get older, they age like a fine bottle of wine. That being said, 5 years the senior is Cornell. I believe in this spot, what happens here is she's just got more paths to victory. Rosa goes up against the cage. She's worried about putting some technical nonsense out there to wow the judges. And either that leaves her open to go out there and get finished, whether that be KO or submission, or she just gets herself into a position where the judges come back and they look at it and they just saw that she didn't do enough. That's my thought process in the philosophy. There's more options. There's more paths to victory. She's just not powerful enough on the Rosa side of things to do anything anyways. Flip side of that, you're going to protect your number. You're going to try to protect from getting finished, and you're going to end up watching that clock tick down. Cornell's a violent gal. She's more active. She's not afraid to look for the knockouts. You look at her 4 fights out here. She found one Cavalcanti split decision. Didn't go her way, but she did come off. Her debut was a victory. Melissa Mullins, she knocked her out. She did find the submission here by Cohen, rear naked choke. And that's kind of the big thing in terms of rounding her game. A lot of the talk about this gal's been, she just doesn't have she can't submit you. She can KO you or she can take you to the scorecards. But hey, she just showed Haley Cohen she can go out there and pull the rear naked choke. So I think multiple paths to victory, multiple opportunities for somebody that's going to try to be technical and protect their UFC record out there. And even that, it's not that great a record to begin with here, but I'm going to take the price tag. I got Cornell. I got plus 160. I think it's a good price for us. It's a fair rate for, again, 3 types of finishes versus a linear fighter on the Rosa side of things. And we'll go to Subhuman Gaucho talking to us about Rebovix and Brenner. Can't wait to hear this breakdown.
All right. Well, great work, fellas. I feel like this is a replay of last week in a sense. Jeff did great in that curtain jerker last week. And Mike with the big number in that middle section. And he's got a big number here. I want to go with it too. I passed last week, which is a big regret. We'll see. As for Ribovics, Brenner, I mean, this is kind of like fight of the night. If you can get a line on that, I think this one jumps out even at chalk. Esteban Ribovics, on the up and up, huge power, great volume. This guy's got a magnificent chin, and I say we, certainly I think a lot of the people on the panel, had Nasbrat, Hackprast, as a dog last time, and should he have got the nod? Watching it back, I kind of think not. I mean, but we did cash at better than 2-1. I like Ribovics. I like him a lot. This guy's got a real motor. Throws a ton of volume, a ton of combinations, and there's a lot of things to like about him. He's the fighter with the better chin. I think that there's a lot that's been made of that, and I do think it's true. But on the other hand, Brenner's a dog. Brenner is a dog. He has cashed a number of times in this sort of position, and I think he's going to give Ribovics quite a fight here. One of the narratives I've heard a lot is that Ribovics is going to be the one countering Brenner, and I think that could certainly happen. I think the opposite's kind of more likely to play out, though. Ribovics throws a lot in combination. They're beautiful. They're very pretty. This guy doesn't stop. He's going to go 3 rounds. All true. But Brenner, I mean, this guy is a dog. He's got a chin on his own right. We saw him get finished in his first ever finish loss by Yoel Alvarez. But Yoel Alvarez, you want to talk about a dangerous guy. I don't think there's anybody, I don't know, outside of maybe John Silva, and I don't know. You could probably name 1 or 2 more people in that category, but I don't think there's really anybody more dangerous than John Silva, or pardon me, Joel Alvarez. And so Elvis Brenner here, he's got great counters of his own. He's got real power of his own, and while he has been knocked down a number of times, he's actually got the better strength of competition in my mind. And believe it or not, it's kind of weird to look at. I always thought of Elves as a guy that's like entering his 30s. He's the younger man stepping into this contest. Will he win minutes on the feet? Kind of hard to say. Both throw hard, and as I said, I think Ribovics has the better chin, but I think this is going to be very back and forth. And there's one guy here with a very, very clear wrestling and grappling advantage. And we've seen Ribovics taken down. We've seen him put in bad positions. I don't think there's anybody, on the level of, Diego Lima shoot box sort of bad positions that he's been in. I think that Elvis Brenner is very live for a KO and a submission here. And also, I think he's very live to just win minutes via top time in a fight that I think is going to be a car crash, where I think both guys have great chin, great durability, a lot of firepower, sure, but also a lot of fight in them. I have to go with the Brazilian here in that classic, South American matchup between Brazil and Argentina. I love Elvis Brenner here. It's my biggest money line bet of the weekend. Elvis Brenner plus 210. I mean, give me some of that in what's going to be a car crash, where one guy has a big advantage on the ground. And yeah, man, I love this fight. Absolutely love it. And we'll leave it at that. Looking forward to Saturday. And before we know it, we'll have some Dana White Contender Series upon us. Lots to look forward to.
There it is. 3 fights for UFC Vegas 108. We were looking at these price tags, as you can see with the recap, parlay these together. That's going to be a nice score. And we've been firing. So let's keep it going. Let's stay hot. Let's keep working. Let's keep grinding, and let's keep stacking that bankroll. Fight nights to what we do best. We'll be live with you guys Saturday, August 2nd. We got a whole smorgasbord of action and content for you guys to check out here. We've got the NFL preseason starting this week for Thursday. We've got PGA golf. We've got all kinds of things up the pipe here with sports money. So make sure you check it out. Hit that thumbs up. On behalf of MMA Jeff, Subhuman Gaucho, thank you guys for checking this out. Smash that thumbs up and leave a comment. Tell us about your favorite fight of the night. We'll see you live on Saturday. Good luck with your UFC